Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another week of the Yakking Show, and we are coming to you in the week ending 31st of January 2025, the first month of the year just about gone. So let's welcome co-host Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, Peter. Thank you. And thank you also very much for tuning into our show. We so appreciate having you.
And for those of you in the southern hemisphere, just to let you know, we're in the middle of our winter. We had another 3 inches of snow last night. We've had a lot of snow in the last few days. So quite different to Africa and Australia. But anyway, enough about the weather. So, Kathleen, do you want to dive into your health topic for the week?
So, the dark side of antidepressants is what we want to chat about today, Peter. Antidepressants, also known as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, or SSRIs for short, are among, according to this article, the most harmful medications on the market, impacting society due to their widespread and frequently unjustifiable use. In fact, they can cause psychotic violence, which typically results in suicide and sometimes horrific homicides, such as mass shootings that we've heard about in the news. The side effect was discovered throughout their clinical studies, but covered up by the drug companies and then covered up by the FDA after the agency received a mass amounts of complaints, 39,000 in fact, once their first medication, once their first SSR hit the market, which was Prozac. And I think
Hmm.
most people have heard of Prozac, right? And
Yeah.
my goodness, other common side effects, Peter, include sexual dysfunction, which they often are permanent, emotional numbness, severe agitation, violent psychosis, cognitive decline, and birth
Hmm.
defects. Have you heard of that? Like, that's
Hmm.
unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
Wow. So they say here another major issue with antidepressants, which is unlikely to be detected on a symptom-based survey, is that they frequently cause bipolar disorder. Wow.
Interesting.
So it says here, it goes on to say that one of the greatest problems with our society is the belief that the media has marketed to us that we should never feel negative emotions, right? In reality,
Hmm.
they really are a critical component of the human experience and are frequently necessary for our growth and identifying the correct direction of our lives. Really, I mean, once you're upset about something, that's when you try to seek out, well, what is it that you need to do, right? Unfortunately,
Right.
to
Yeah.
market depression, it was necessary to pathologize normal facets of life and turn them into permanent illnesses requiring indefinite treatment. So, because of how they are dosed, antidepressants are incredibly addictive. And once they're partially
Hmm.
decreased, a variety of symptoms can onset. So, that's where, when they start to decrease, that people can have suicidal ideations and homicidal thoughts. So, this is why they say you should never abruptly stop taking them. So the other thing that
Ah.
they're saying is that doctors are not typically trained to recognize these withdrawals. Um, and really, our doctors typically instead interpret them as a pre-existing illness, no
Hmm.
longer being counteracted by the antidepressant and continue to push the drugs. And very few, they say, know how to safely taper patients off antidepressants.
That is really concerning. Hmm.
And that,
So, yeah, it really it horrifies me that the governments around the world spend so much effort and money on criminalizing the use of magic mushrooms, right? And amongst other natural hallucinatory and effectively antidepressant medications, natural.
Mhm.
They spend
Mhm.
all this money and effort on criminalizing that, and then they promote stuff that's causing people to go nuts, essentially, and have suicidal and homicidal thoughts. And I know one of the recent school shootings, can't remember which one, uh, that was the one where the person was confused, I think, and didn't know if they were a boy or girl. That one, I think I've read a report there that that person was on antidepressants and for some time. and was acting very strangely, and that should have been picked up before that incident. But
I,
anyway,
I, I know I know people that have taken antidepressants and probably continue to take them. And one of the saddest things that I think I hear from them is that they're no longer able to feel joy. Yes, when they
hmm
have lows, they're not feeling the lows as low as they used to, but they're not feeling the highs anymore. So the
right,
family gatherings that they used to really look forward to and enjoy, sort of keeps them very on an even keel, so you never feel the ups or the downs. And I think that's sad. I think
all the
as
downs.
humans, we're supposed to feel that, right?
Absolutely. Well, as you just said, when you were reading out, quoting that article, that
Mhm.
feeling the downs is part of human life.
Sure.
And if I look at my history, as many of our viewers will know, I was brought up in a British orientated country in Africa where the use of antidepressants was very low, and we were not exposed to American TV for a start. And we had
Mhm.
very little TV. And our way of life, we had sanctions, we had the whole world against us. We had a lot of crap coming our way, and we got on with it, right?
Mhm.
And we experienced those lows, but we were so glad to still be alive. And in my personal story, I went through terrible stuff in Africa, um, but that's part of life, and that makes me treasure the good times all the more. And
Mhm.
never in my life have I ever thought of asking the doctor for antidepressants, and I've had some really low periods. But we were brought up to not rely on pills, right? To use,
Mhm.
feeling depressed, get on your horse and gallop around the farm, or if you haven't got a horse, go out for a walk, or go and look at the flowers. That's the best cure for depression you can find, right? So
Right.
anyway, I'm preaching. I'm on my high horse, but I'm very anti this idea of prescribing pills for everything. I think it's causing more harm than it's curing. Anyway, that's enough for me. Now you've got. Sorry, Kathleen, I jumped in with a little bit of a rant there, but
No, that's okay. No, it's just
you
something to be aware of, though. People who are on
sure,
antidepressants need to be aware of this information, and many are
absolutely,
likely not. So
yeah.
that's why we want to put the information out there, don't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we were. I'm not going to give the whole game away, but when you think about the person we interviewed yesterday, um, talking about natural cures for fairly serious illnesses and ailments which are suppressed, right? And there was even legislation to suppress them. That'll all come out in the episode, which is going to be published in February, I think. Anyway, Kathleen, you want to talk about a health recommendation today, don't you?
Well, I want to give a plug for Dr. Morse products because right now they're running a sale on the detox kits. And this would be a great opportunity, especially with spring, hopefully around the corner, Peter, hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Would be a great time to do a whole body cleanse. And he has these fantastic kits with instructions on how to use all of them. And if you put in Yakking Show in the code, you get a discount on all of his products. And we will put a link to those detox kits below this video.
We will indeed. Thanks, Kathleen. Let's tell you what happened on the Yakking Show this week. Well, as you know, we are now on to our bi-weekly cycle of guests. So we didn't have a guest this week. We had Jenny Powers last week. Who's coming up? On Tuesday next week, first week of February, we will have Professor Keith Ellis, and he will be talking about the effects of long COVID or post-viral infection complications. And he's done a lot of research on this, and he's found that some people get over viral infections very quickly, but others, the symptoms linger on for months or even semi-permanently. And he's come up with some natural remedies to cure these. Now, that's an interesting one. If you or someone you know is suffering from symptoms, extended symptoms of a post-viral infection, be it COVID or otherwise, listen or watch that episode, and you'll pick up some good tips to handle it. Following him, the week after that will be Dee Manny, who will be talking about CBD and cannabis oil, and she's got an amazing story to relate there.
Wow,
And the week
yes.
after that will be Scott. Isn't it amazing? And I mean, I've always been very wary of any, as I call them, mind-altering drugs. But I tell you what, she really opened my eyes with what she had to say. So,
Absolutely.
but wait for the episode. It's worth watching. It's a really good
Mhm.
one. And then we have Scott Bucco, who is my brain mechanic. He talks about traumatic brain injuries, and also a very good episode. If you or someone you know has had a stroke or some other form of brain injury, concussion, he explains how it's not always irreversible. There's a lot of things you can do to alleviate those complications from that. And that's who's coming up in the next couple of weeks. So to make sure you don't miss out on these brilliant guests that we've got coming, hop onto the website, theyakkingshow.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We only send you one email a week. We tell you who's on this week, who's coming next week or the week after. And we always recommend a book. And this week's book is one of our recent, towards the end of last year, Dr. Tom Ingenio, who has, there we go, the cupping book. He has worked on an ancient remedy or an ancient practice called cupping for alleviating pain and stressed muscles. And Kathleen and I both have sets. There you are. That's what they look like.
That's what they
In the
look
old
like.
days, they were made from animal horns or
Mhm.
glass, and these ones are silicone. So Kathleen's going to show you how to put it on,
Well,
I think.
I'll just, you can
Here we
typically,
go.
if you've got back issues, you would apply them to the back, but you would just hang on.
There you go. Yeah, they need a
Yeah,
flat
I know.
surface to put onto.
You need somebody to kind of help you do this, but
Yeah, there you go. And they will hold on and you leave them on for 15 minutes.
yep.
And I use them on my good lady. She has back pains and shoulder pains, and we put 6 or 8 of those on her, and she says it definitely helps.
Oh, well,
It
I mean, they use these for Olympic athletes, don't they?
That's right.
Hmm.
Yeah, especially swimmers. Yeah, very, very popular. So that there'll be a link to get the book and the cups in the description below. So that's our featured author of the week. And then Kathleen, do you want to talk about the Facebook community group?
Ah, yes, we've just started a Facebook community forum. So it's a Facebook group, and this will include all of our guests that we've had on the show, and hopefully you can join. And also, it's a great opportunity for you to network and ask questions of all of our guests and really engage with them. And hopefully, we will put a link again to the Facebook page below this video. So
Mhm.
let's
And
let's
that
join.
community group is also a resource for you if you have a topic you would really like us to look
Oh,
at.
yes.
Then
Mhm.
leave us a suggestion in the group, and we or some of our guests will answer you. And if we can do some research and do another episode, we will certainly do that. So we're always looking for ideas that you would like to hear about. And that's about it from me, Kathleen.
Oh, well, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next week, take care, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye.